Hey guys, so a lot of people have been asking me questions like, what do what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And why? Why are you working so hard this time to lose weight? Especially people who know me because it's not my first weight loss journey. So, I just wanted to come and kind of tell you my story and, hopefully that will give you guys a little bit of background on me and to understand where I'm coming from. So I was never really overweight as a kid. I played outside all the time. I was one of those sun up to sundown kids. Mom had to yell for us to come in and eat dinner, and then we wanted to know if we could go back outside. We had a cute little neighborhood where I grew up and lots of kids around, and so my older brother and I spent a lot of time out there with them. It was probably around middle school age, that lovely puberty age when all the girls go through it, where obviously I started noticing changes in my body, and my hips got wider and all that fun puberty stuff. So it was about 8th grade or so when I started putting on a little bit of weight. I tried out for some sports and wasn't good enough. One of those like, oh, well, try again next year, maybe you'll be better, but you can't practice with us, so I don't know how you're going to get better. Yeah, one of those. So it was discouraging, but I found marching band and I learned how to twirl a flag like a champ. So I did that for 2 years, 9th and 10th grade, and then I just decided, I didn't really want to do it anymore. So, throughout that whole time, well, really throughout all of high school, I just kind of kept packing on the weight. I wasn't very active. I was the funny friend because that kind of became my niche, to just be really nice to everybody and crack a joke when things were tense. And so, when I graduated high school, I pretty much knew most of my graduating class and had some sort of association with them. I dived in and got myself involved in helping out with our athletic trainer, so I knew all the sports people. I was in choir, so I knew, drama, choir people, that kind of stuff. So when I graduated high school, I weighed 190, and I was about 5'9". Shortly after high school, I got pregnant with my daughter and had her right after I turned 20. I gained 65 pounds when I was pregnant with her. The day I went in for delivery, I weighed 260. And the day I came home, which was only 3 days later, I weighed 210. So it was a lot of baby weight for sure, but I definitely was more than, when I had started. And I was a single mom. And life as a single mom is stressful, especially when you're 20 years old and you think you know everything and you don't know anything. Time management is obviously not a huge priority when you're 20 years old. So I would work all day. I'd be tired, didn't want to cook, so I'd run through the drive-thru or eat chips or, whatever was quick and easy. And I didn't really know it at the time, but I was pretty depressed. Wasn't happy with myself. A lot of boredom. I would put my daughter to bed at night and I would sit at home bored. So I would eat and watch TV and drink a lot of soda. So when Emily was about 1.5 years old, we knew that she had some delays and we got her tested and they just said, oh yeah, she has developmental delays. We're not really sure what it is, but that was the gist of it. So, now I'm 21. I have a kid with special needs. I'm already stressed and, trying to make ends meet, already getting into debt at 21 years old. not able to pay bills, not able to find good daycare, changing jobs over and over. When I was 24, right before I turned 24, I went to live at a house for single moms. And I learned a lot about myself and, my personality, who I am, and what I need out of life while I was there. And I got the opportunity to go to school while I was there. So I graduated in 2003 with my LPN degree, 25 years old. When I graduated, I knew in my heart that my daughter had pervasive developmental disorder, something we had learned about in school, and it's a form of autism, kind of high functioning, but still along the lines of there's something wrong with your kid and we don't know what it is. So she started kindergarten after that, and they, of course, for the school had her labeled for mental retardation because of her failure to complete IQ testing and that type of thing. One thing I learned about Emily is that she's very, very smart, but if you're boring her, she doesn't care. So testing it means nothing to her. So you're not going to get her to sit and do testing. But anyway, so we went through a few years of me arguing with the school, doing IEPs, super stressful time, still changing jobs, even though I had a career path. I hadn't found the job that was right for me. I did nursing home, I did doctor's offices, and just wasn't quite right. When I worked in a nursing home, I worked 50, 60 hours a week, poured my heart and soul into it, and it just stressed me out. And stress, eat food. So my weight just continued to climb through all this time. When Emily was 11, I took her to an independent psychologist and finally got the diagnosis that I knew from the time she was 5. So she is officially labeled with pervasive developmental disorder. And also in that time, somewhere around kindergarten age, she was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. And in learning about that in her, I found a lot of the symptoms in myself. And so I had a really awesome doctor, and he worked with me and sent me to a psychologist to go through and see, it's hard to explain, if my issue was actually depression or if my depression was stemming from my lack of attention. So really, after only about 3 visits, she agreed that it wasn't just pure depression that was affecting me. I definitely had the attention deficit disorder, and I had been through different depression medications and none of them worked for me. So my doctor put me on Adderall. He knew I was a nurse. I had worked with him, actually, and so he worked with me really well. I would call him if I felt like the dose wasn't right, and we would taper it. Found a dose that worked for me, and I took Adderall for probably 2-3 years. And it really helped me to stay focused, and I felt like a happier person finally. It was weird, but I felt like I was more aware of my surroundings. So fast forward a little more, moved to Michigan. I'm from Pennsylvania originally. Moved to Michigan in 2010, that summer. Had trouble finding a job, but I moved here for my daughter's education, so I wanted to make it work. And it's been a struggle, but I've managed to make it work. So anyway, now back in January, I was approached about becoming a Beachbody coach. And that's kind of where my story now starts. But my story before really was about my struggle with depression and attention deficit disorder and my inner body image. I was depressed about who I was. I wanted to lose weight, but I wanted to lose weight because I wanted people to like me. I thought if I was skinnier, people would like me, or if I was prettier, people would want to hang out with me. And it took a long time for me to process that that's not what it's all about. You know, if your weight loss journey is about other people, you're not going to be successful. And it took a long time for me to realize that. I had to make it about me. I have a long family history of cancer and heart disease and, all these medical issues that being overweight is just pouring into those issues. And I looked at my daughter one day and I was like, who's going to take care of her? If something happens to me. So, so I had to change. And I made that decision that I had to change. Nobody was going to do it for me. So here I am on my journey, and it's not easy, guys. Not at all. There's days that I want to give up so bad, but I don't. Because she needs me, and I need to be there for her. So that's why. That's why every day I get up and I make smart choices. And I don't work out every day. I skip workouts, and I feel guilty about it. And that's why. Because I know that I'm just hurting myself. So, I've kind of recommitted to myself. I have this huge plan for the rest of the year, and I hope that you guys keep following me and stick with me. And reach out to me if you're struggling. I know what it's like to be financially insecure and want to make huge changes, and there's always a solution. All it takes is one person to believe in you, and I want to be that person. So thanks for following me, and I'll talk to you guys soon.